So what we have today, we're going to try and build a Pinewood Derby legal GoPro car. Basically what we're going to try and get it to do is to mount the GoPro right in the car. Kind of an English open style car. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a cutout here for the lens so that the lens can shoot straight forward and we can still sink this down deep into the car. We'll see how it goes. I measured the GoPro, weighed it, and it's 2.7 ounces, which is just a tad under what I'm typically putting weight-wise in a Pinewood Derby car once it's all shaved and ready to go. So we may even have to actually add some weight to it. So it's just going to be the blank GoPro, not in a case, so we'll see how that goes, but that's why we definitely sunk it way down in. So I'm going to strap on my headgear, and we're going to go out in the garage, and we're going to cut this and start shaping it a little bit, and we'll see what we get. So basically it turns out the battery died on my microphone attached to my GoPro, so I have no audio from this part of the video. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm drilling holes, and I wanted them real nice and parallel and real nice and straight. So I threw them on my drill press to make sure that they were exactly perpendicular to the car. Now I'm just going to go ahead and chip out this piece of block here and kind of level that up just a little bit. And what I decided to do was get out my router bit. It does work in a drill press. It works better in a router, but it's a lot easier in a router bit. But it's a lot easier in a drill press. So run it through here, and what you get is an extremely flat, extremely level surface, just like it was milled that way, because basically you were milling it that way. So there we go. Now I've got to cut out the part where the lens is going to sit, and of course, you know, got to use a handsaw. I don't really have I could use a table saw if I had one out, but I didn't feel like getting my table saw out. So we're just going to saw like it's 1920s. You know, and of course I nicked the back, and oddly enough, where I nicked that is where the battery door lines up. So I knew that I could slide it over and then line it up with the battery door for right there. So it was a happy little accident, you know, kind of like Bob Ross. Just a happy little accident. You know, put a little tree over here. This time I got smart and I blocked it off with the clamp, and that way I couldn't nick the back. You know, and definitely clamping it down helped me saw on it. So just keep going, and then, you know, I'm all the way through, and boom, out comes that side. And there we go, pop that side off. And again, like I said, just run the router bit through there. So it turns out after all that work that my microphone was dead, so you guys didn't get to hear all the wonderful witty banter. So I'll probably have to just like record a little overdub or something of this. But for now, we'll just keep going. So now I've got the lens angle calculated. Now we're just going to cut it down. So we're going to try and cut this by hand, and then I realized that was probably a dumb idea. Might as well get out the scroll saw. So let's do it. Okay, got our nifty little Harbor Freight sanding drum, like $12.99, $14.99, whatever it is. Actually works really well, especially for shaping. Man, I'll tell you what, for 12 or 13 bucks, you cannot beat it. Mix it with a nice flat surface and you get a nice flat deal. The only part you're going to see is that it doesn't get right down next to the table, which leaves a little divot, but then you just flip it over and hit it with the other side. It looks great. So here we go. So we don't catch a groove on the track, always clean it up like that. Same thing with the front, just clean it up. Just make sure that when we're going down the track we don't catch anything, you know. Give it a nice good angle in the front and the rear. So that's pretty close to it. I think we'll do a little hand sanding here and see what we get. So I freehanded a little bit on the drum sander just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking for, but when we clean it up we'll have that rounded look. So we'll have a nice rounded car, set the GoPro right in there, and I'm hoping we should be at legitimate weight. I'm thinking we should be right at 5 ounces. So while I'm here, I'm going to drill out my holes a little bit, make it easier to push my wheels in, and then we'll epoxy them in when it's ready, or super glue them in when it's ready, and then should be it. So let's go from there. All right, we cleaned it up. You know, drilled some pilot holes for the axles. Lifted this one up a little bit because we're going to do a 3-wheel car and a rail rider. We're going to tilt this one a little bit and tilt these out a little bit, get them running real good down the track. As you can see, the balance point, front to rear balance point, is going to be about 1 inch in front of the rear wheel, a little bit more than 1 inch because with the GoPro sitting there, we couldn't be right at 1 inch because of the way it worked with the wheels. So we're going to do some finish sanding on this. Going to clean this up, spray paint it in the flat black real quick, and then we'll be ready to mount the wheels and axles and see what we weigh. So we'll get back to that later. The official first test run. So what we have now is a Pinewood Derby car. I ran a little bit of just some polyurethane spray over the top of it, over the wood, and gave that a quick sand, and then I sprayed it in some flat black. My thought is that it won't pick up as much glare off the car. If we painted it in a real bright color, we'd get a, I was going to even throw some clear coat over the top of it, but I was afraid we'd get too much glare off the camera since the camera lens sits so close. So it weighs in right at 5 ounces. Literally, with the camera on, 5 ounces exactly. My scale is only a tenth scale. I know the official scale is a 100th scale. So that's going to be the big question, is when we get it on the 100th scale, is it going to still be 5, or is it going to be 5.05? And then if that's the case, I might have to drill a little bit out. But this is technically a legal car. This is a Pinewood Derby legal car. There's nothing illegal about it. When I put the GoPro in there, it's right at 5 ounces. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you'd get away with saying, hey, let me stick the GoPro back in and pull it out and put it back in. I don't know if any, troop would let you do that, but that's the deal. So here we have a GoPro ready car. GoPro fits right in here, lens sits here, and the way this is cut, the lens doesn't, you barely pick up a little bit. So cars that are running over here, you're still going to see them in front of that bump. That bump's not going to block anything. So yeah, that's the deal. In fact, we'll just go ahead and test fit it in there and show you. Line it up, and boom, there you go. It's a real car, ready to rock and roll.